Guys looked like you turned things around midway late in the third quarter there. What was kind of the difference for you?
Well, there was an air of desperation. I mean, we've last two games, third quarters have been, our Achilles heel. We talked about it at the half that we have to, our approach coming out of halftime has got to be better. And started slow, and thankfully we were able to get a little bit more momentum, which I think carried over to the fourth.
How big was Trez coming in the third for that, and how old for that matter?
No, it was big. I mean, we had to kind of junk it up, get guys in and out, get the matchups we liked, and throw multiple bodies at them. I mean, they were playing with a level of comfort. Even in the fourth, we obviously outscored them, but the defense wasn't great. We got the stops we needed when we needed them, but I think it's got to be by committee. That at times it's okay to win ugly. And I know I've said that quite a bit, but it's true.
Spencer kind of acts like it's old hat when he closes the game like this, but just how big has it been when he gets going like that in the fourth quarter?
I mean, there's no words for it. I mean, those are game-winning plays. The fact that he's got the moxie and the comfort level to step up, not afraid of the moment. And thankfully, we have several guys like that on this group that are okay in those big moments, and they've produced.
You guys are 7-1 at home now. Only the Warriors have been better. They're 8-1. Just what has been the key to you guys being so good here?
I mean, some of it is our home court. I mean, the crowd has been terrific. It's you feel it. And in those moments, I think it helps drive our guys, gives them an extra boost. I think most teams are probably better at home than on the road, but the fact that we are where we are, I think bodes well for our comfort level here, but also our fans and the atmosphere that creates.
And what was the key to defending the three tonight? I think they only made 7, and they didn't make a single one in the fourth quarter.
Well, I mean, once again, the urgency. It's a priority for us every night, but the volume of shooting they can put out on the floor. Just having awareness, the urgency to get to those guys, run them off. And then we saw in last possession, just keep coming. It's when there are breakdowns, cover for each other, keep flying around and get a late contest at worst. But make sure we put those shooters under duress.
Was it the same root cause of the turnovers tonight?
To some degree. And some of it too is just, you play in a crowd and the ball just gets popped loose. But for the most part, they weren't at as many live ball, which I can live with. Dead ball turnovers aren't great. You're not getting a possession. You're not getting a look, an opportunity to score, but at least it's not a jailbreak the other way.
When Brad was really cooking tonight, what was going well for him, either competing against the defense or something he was able to kind of find?
The pick and rolls were great. And, we were trying to orchestrate certain cross matches. But I thought late in the fourth, once we got the cross match, we didn't stop and stare at it. We continued to keep energy in the ball and move it. And just that little bit of movement creates openings, so creates seams, creates a little indecision. We got some good looks out of it.
You said you'd rather not be in the position to be down, double digits in the third quarter. But again, another comeback, Boston, Cleveland, New Orleans, and then tonight. What does it say about this team to have another second half comeback?
It speaks to our resolve that we just can't quit. I think it's in our fiber, and it's a great attribute that we're not going to just hang our hats when things aren't going well. Of course, you're going to be frustrated, but it's how you respond. And I think we've showed time and time again, and we're going to have to continue to do that because we're going to be in a lot of close games, but that we're just not going to fold. Just say, you know what, hey, tonight's not our night. Keep fighting.
Kyle with some great defense there on that last possession. He had a big defensive rebound and then made some big free throws. Through three quarters, it wasn't, a great night for him, but for him to play really great down the stretch, what did you see out of him there?
Well, I saw the little bit of frustration. I think we was trying to guard and picked up some fouls. The shots weren't falling, and at times I think it's easy to say, what's in it for me? So, I have to I got to give him a lot of credit because he stayed with it, and he wasn't having a night where he was getting the open looks or making, the big shots, but he stayed with it on the defensive end. He impacted the game.
And then KCP, he obviously had a tough task, being on Jimmy Butler for a lot of the game. But for him to hit those threes, late in the fourth quarter, still have legs under him. Yeah. What does that show about him as a guy that can contribute?
He's a pro. He's been in these moments. I mean, this is nothing. He won the finals, so he's not afraid to, take on the challenge of having to guard the marquee matchup from night to night. I thought Kuz, had his opportunity. Pope obviously does quite a bit, but to be able to step up and make those plays when we needed them, just shows a comfort level. And I think that just is it's a hallmark of who they are, where they've been, and the fact that they're not fazed by this. So it's a great comfort to me and obviously our group.
Josh.
Wes, I know this is only a regular season game and it's only game 16, but is it possible that a win like this to stem a 2-game losing streak against within your division is actually an important win? That I know they're all important, but does this have added importance to it?
I mean, to some degree. I mean, I think, anytime you're playing a marquee team like the Heat, you come away with a win, you got to be proud of your group. But I also think, we don't want to find ourselves in that position of getting down, 16 or 17 in the second half. But the fact that we were able to climb out, it's, once again, it's a gritty group, and we don't always play perfect, but we keep competing. So it's, I think it does show people, another glimpse of who we are.
How much of a momentum swing or momentum energy generator was Howell's bat away when he was switched on he denied the entry pass to Butler down low, and to what degree did that give your team some added juice and energy?
Well, I mean, he as a player brings that added energy and juice, which is terrific. Those type of plays are not uncharacteristic for him. So the fact that he came up with that play against a switch, a bigger opponent, it just shows his fight and his competitive spirit. I think those are momentum plays, to your point. And that was in a big juncture of the game, so it did swing in our favor. But he's made plays like that throughout this young season, and I'm sure he's made those type plays throughout his career. But his energy is infectious. His defensive tenacity, that's a part of who he is and how he plays. So it's great to see it in that moment, but it's also a hallmark for him. I know I guarantee when he steps on the floor, he's going to bring that dimension.
Neil.
Hey, Coach, just what's your general philosophy on using your challenge? Do you essentially not want to use it at all in the first half? And did you consider using it on that Brad foul call against Butler towards the end?
I did consider using it, but I felt it was too much time left. With one challenge, the new rules allow you to, challenge for possession only in the last 2 minutes, but it's a big play. So you want to hold on to it as long as possible and hope you don't find the need to use it early in the game. If it happens where, third or fourth foul early in the third on a marquee guy, you feel like you're certain about it, then maybe you use it. But in general, I'd rather hold on to it for those in the game situations.
You ended up needing it for the Dinwiddie play, so fair point there. On the last possession, Harold gets switched on to Butler. Is the call just to play everything straight up? Did you guys consider fouling there at all?
Well, we talked about fouling, inside of three, back to the basket, but it's tough as the clock winds down rather, and, he's dribbling outside of three. It just makes you real nervous. If a guy raises up, you got your arms over the ball, you foul him. Now you're at the mercy of the whistle. And, if they say he's in the act. We talked about switching before and after the ball comes in, which we've done quite a bit in those scenarios, and it worked in our favor. Thought Trez did a great job, pressing up, taking him off the three. If anything, give up the two. Don't overhelp, let him lay it in. Now we, obviously have some time to kill, but we have possession.
And last thing, Kuzma missed the last two free throws. Bam, gets the heave off at the last second. Anything going through your mind when you see it go off the back there?
Yeah, that thing might have gone in. It's one of those crazy plays, but you have to play the game throughout. Play it to the final bell, and we got lucky.
Thanks, Coach.
Wayne.
Hey, Coach. These back-to-back games, almost like a mini playoff series. What adjustments were you most proud of tonight?
I thought we were a little bit more physical. I think our overall approach was better. With their level of physicality. Obviously, we got in foul trouble early, and it took Trez, it took Gaff out of the game, which allowed them to junk it up a bit. They could switch, 1 through 5, and it makes it really tough to run offense and create flow, momentum, and spacing in those situations. So, I'm happy that we could weather that storm. But in general, I thought, Butler had it going. We made an adjustment on him late. Last five, I think 540, he scored 2 points on those last 2 free throws, but I thought we did a better job on him late to kind of nullify his impact.
And lastly, Coach, we always say these type of wins are character wins. When you look back at this game, what stands out most to you about tonight's victory?
Say that last part again, I'm sorry.
What stands out to you tonight about tonight's victory?
Well, just once again, our resolve, the fact that we just, we hung in there. And I give our guys a lot of credit because, there was some frustration early and it could have gone one of two ways, but we were able to pull together and guys, competed, they stayed together and we were able to gut it out. So, to your point, it is a character win. It's a gritty win. It's a divisional win. So it's, a lot of good things, behind this. But we also can take a lot of things and learn from it. How do we find ourselves in that hole? How do we come out in the, second half and not have those third quarter stretches? So, still a lot of positives, but yeah, it's good to win and also learn a few things.
Thank you, Coach.
That's it.
From time to time, every game, and that's our DNA. We just fight.
And you had 10 points in the fourth quarter, 3 threes. What just led to you getting going on offense?
Just taking the shots, feeling confidence when I'm taking them shots, knowing that I'm gonna knock them down, and just trying to stay in a rhythm. I'm shooting. I've been in this little slump, so I'm just trying to continue to shoot the ball and just get out of that slump.
KCP, even when you win ugly, you have to do the right things at the right time. What
Yes.
were you guys able to take advantage of on offense, particularly in the fourth quarter?
Exploiting mismatches. I want to say, we was trying to get either Brad or Spence downhill, on Duncan Robinson or Hero, and try to create something here and there. Can I get a towel?
How comforting is it knowing that, Spence always talks about he can hit those clutch threes? Obviously you can. Kuz can come up with the big free throws. And does it give you a sense of security even when you're playing kind of like crazy?
Yeah. We grateful that we have a point guard that can score the ball like that. He hit big shots like that as well. But Spencer is a full quarter player. I want to say, he likes to get it going in the fourth. And it's been big for us, to start the season off.
7-1 at home for you guys. I think Golden State's the only team in the NBA with a better home record. What's that say about this team and how nice is it, in the fourth quarter there when you guys are making a comeback and the crowd's really into it?
Says a lot, I'm sweating like a mouth. It says a lot, we like I said, we're a team that doesn't quit. We continue to fight, no matter what. Man, let's take it, man. Look at this. Give me a second, man. I'm back. All right, that's a little better. I think it was just too much what I had on.
A lot of turnovers tonight. Wes was talking about it earlier. Is there a thread that you can kind of connect to some of the recent games where you've had a lot of turnovers and any similarities between some of the turnovers, or is it just focus? What is it with some of the turnovers?
I feel like there's a lot of similarities. Last game they pressured us a lot, and we turned the ball over. This game they did the same, and we turned the ball over. But we do got to do a better job of when that's happening, showing ourselves to the ball and just being available. It's a lot of times that our guy was getting trapped and we wasn't available, to get the outlet pass, and it eventually turned into a turnover.
How big of a boost was the crowd?
man, the crowd energy is always big. You know, you don't want to be in an arena and you coming back like that and it's dead. You know, we look for that energy, you know, that feeds our energy. And you know, that just saying that that's feeding in off the crowd energy is always big.
Helps you lock in on both ends.
I mean, I hope we already locked in. But no, it doesn't. It just, you know, it just give us that energy, that boost that we need. You know, that extra win. Knowing that we got to, you know, grind it out right now at this moment, and you know that energy is always a big key. You know, when you want to come back or you trying to come back.
They're a top 10 team in terms of 3-point percentage. You held them to 7 threes, 0 threes in the fourth. What allowed you guys to just kind of like lock down the perimeter when you needed it to?
I mean, we knew they had the shooters out there at sometimes, but you know, we pride on our defense as well. You know, that's what we do when we practice that every day. You know, so our defensive scheme, where we knew it was going to get a lot of threes, and they did. And when we was played them in Miami, so we tried to, you know, went back to the drawing board, and we tried to cut out all that, try to force them into tough contested twos. I'm sorry.
Josh.
KCP, to win a game like this the way your team won it, to come back, to have everyone contribute, how much does that help build this team's identity, whatever the identity is?
It helps a lot, you know, just knowing that, you know, we're out there together. You know, we can't win, you know, with one person just doing it. It's a team effort, you know, on both sides of the floor. And I feel like every night we show that, you know, we show that we connected, you know, and we all here on the same page, you know, and that's to win games. Was
Powell Neto's bat away when he was cross-matched against Butler? They tried to feed an entry pass to Jimmy Butler, and he batted away. Your team got some fast break points on it. How much of an energy boost is a play like that?
Man, I remember the play. I don't know if we were down or up at the time, but that was Jimmy did have a mismatch. They tried to throw it in there. You know, he got his hands on the ball, and you know, we just took it in transition. And I want to say we scored the ball. I'm not sure. I just remember it was a great defensive play at the time. You know, the crowd got into it once we got to stop. You know, and it carry overs.
Thank you very much.
Neil.
At KCP, Denny had the one technical foul where he slammed the ball, and you and Brad kind of went over to him immediately. What were you trying to convey to him?
Just keep your composure. You know, he done it last game. You know, I want to say last home game, he do it the same thing. But you know, we all get emotional when we playing defense and we don't think it's a foul and they call it. But it was just emotion. You know, we were just trying to tell him to keep his composure. And I think it was at the wrong time, I want to say. I want to say we was either up or down or coming back at the time. And that tech, you know, could have went both ways. And, you know, we just talked about it. Just calm down, you know, keep your composure. You know, basically great defense. You know, they call a lot of non-fouls out there, but but it was great defense.
And then in the third quarter, Miami goes on their run early in the quarter. You guys take a timeout. What's the conversation? What's being said in the timeout to kind of get you guys to how are you able to finish?
I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like we know who we are. You know, we've been down in that situation before. And we know we have the talent, you know, the defensive pressure that we can apply, you know, to get us back into that game. So we don't come to the bench, you know, after that timeout. We all just, you know, calm down, you know, say we need to just lock in on defense, get stops, and, you know, we're going to come down and score the ball regardless.
Thanks, KCP.
Last question to Peter.
Hi, Peter Ortiz on Fire Media. You guys have had a great season so far, while the team that traded you has been a failure. Do you get any satisfaction from that?
I didn't hear the last part. What was that?
Do you get any satisfaction from that?
I'm happy where I'm at. You know, not really. I wasn't really, too upset about, what happened with the trade or anything. No, Brad is a great friend. And we always, talked about playing with each other. So it was no biggie for me. Already coming off a championship, and it's time to move on.
That's it. Thank you.
Around 16 points, only scored 15 in the second quarter. You found a way to win. What did it take to pull out this victory?
First praise my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Honestly, it was our will and resiliency. We got stops at the end of the game. Went on a big run in the third, going into the fourth, and just made some big shots down the stretch. KCP, Spence, Cool's big free throws. We just made some big plays down the stretch. We made it tough on them. They went on a big run and kind of got ugly for a minute, but we stood our ground. We didn't get rattled. And, we snapped out of it and made a nice run.
You guys kind of won an ugly game. I mean, it required defense and kind of being gritty a little bit. What does it say about this team to be able to pull out a win like that against a team like the Heat, where that's kind of their brand of basketball?
It's very special, because for us, we just want to continue to build on what we have. We know it's a lot of new faces, new coach, new system. Like, it's all new. Like, we're about 20 games in now. So everybody's still learning. Like, we're still learning on the fly, but it's amazing to see that we're able to put some wins together while we're still learning. So, that's a great sign. We're just going to continue to build on that. And then once we fix the things we need to on both ends, I think we'll definitely hit the ground running for sure. Then we get guys back healthy to make us that much better. So the sky's the limit for us.
Brad, what makes Spencer so good in the fourth quarter?
Spencer's poised. He doesn't get rattled. He stays under control. He's a confident player. And he takes tough shots and makes tough shots. So I don't know. He's one of a kind. He was special tonight for sure. I need him like that all the time.
You guys are 7-1 at home. What's the atmosphere been like so far this season for your home games?
It's been awesome. We love it. We feed off the energy. It's very playoff-like atmosphere. Have 20,000 plus tonight. That's amazing. So we definitely feed off of that. We love the support. We need it. We feed off their energy, and we understand the city has been missing this for a long time. We miss it as an organization, so we understand that correlation, and we want to get the city back rocking again. So, we're off to a good start, but we still got a lot of work to do, and always having a good home crowd helps us. So keep coming.
Do you guys enter home games thinking, hey, we got to win these games. These are ones that we can't, afford to lose. Is that kind of the mindset of playing at home? Is that any different than when you go on the road?
Not necessarily. I'm always big. I always say protect the crib. We always got to protect the crib. We can go on the road. We know how it's tough to win in this league as is, but we have to protect our house. We have to come in and be ready to go from start to finish. And I think we did that. Granted, they went on that run, but a lot of times when we play these teams, I don't know what it is, but at home, we're really rocking. We're really ready to go. So that's important for us moving forward, especially when it comes down to playoffs and seeding, and especially playing Miami and Charlotte coming up again. These games matter. So we got to make sure we're ready to go.
And you and a lot of the other guys have mentioned the resiliency, when you're down in the second half or like in overtime against Boston. Aside from that, when you do get down in those situations, double digits tonight and some of these other games, how do you not kind of get inside your own head, or how do you not, maybe freak out and say, oh, it's not our night? How do you kind of stay composed?
You just control what you can control, man. I always say if we can control making shots, we'll be 100% from the field. We wouldn't miss a shot. A lot of stuff is out of our control, so we just stay with it, stay in the moment, stay engaged. And I think we did that tonight. We didn't point the finger. We weren't arguing. We weren't mad at each other. Like we were We were just locked in, and we were like, okay, we got to snap out of it. Let's do it collectively. That was something I said before the game. We can't win this game individually. We're not going to try to do that, and that's not going to work if we do. So we rallied together collectively on both ends, and we made it work.
Hey, Brad, just about the crowd noise. Was it as loud as you've heard it in recent memory?
From having no fans, a year ago, yeah, it's extremely loud, but it's definitely noticeable, and we're very appreciative of it. The support we've gotten all year, and we're just going to continue to get better. We're going to continue to push. Like I said before, we still have guys out. Like we're putting things together on the fly. Still learning, each other's strong suits, weaknesses, and all while, trying to perfect coaches, chemistry and what he wants our style of play to be. So everything is still a work in progress, but, like I told Chase earlier, for us to rack together some wins like we are, is very promising, but we got to stay humble and hungry.
The Heat are top 10 in 3-point percentage, and you guys held them to 7 threes tonight, 0 threes in the fourth quarter. How big has your 3-point defense been, especially when you can lock it down late like that?
We have to. It's imperative. Those threes hurt. Those are daggers. Those drain the energy from the team. Those are the type of plays that can really kind of diminish you at the end of games and in the fourth. Giving up those big shots and they kind of drain you. We did a good job of stopping it. We know Tyler's a terrific scorer. Duncan can shoot it. Jimmy can score. We know Kalo can shoot it. Struz can shoot it. Like, they have a bunch of guys who that's what they do, So coach emphasized it and re-emphasized it. Pat, same thing at timeouts, just making sure that we run guys off the line, knowing our personnel. And I think that's a big growth step for us too, is knowing who we're guarding when we're guarding them, Certain guys we run off the line, certain guys we don't. Certain guys we help off strong, some guys we don't. So we're getting better at that, but it's definitely still a work in progress.
And I don't think we've asked you yet, but just what do you think about Tommy Shepard getting promoted to team president and getting a multi-year contract?
I was happy for him. I didn't know till a little bit later in the day, but I was extremely ecstatic for him and happy for him and Sashi. They're definitely deserving of it, and they work extremely hard. I see Shep in here every single day. He's very in tune. He cares. He's an awesome person, and then he loves the game. He just wants his team to do well. He wants his team to get better, and he holds us to a certain standard. That I respect and I love. So I'm definitely happy for him, and he's just a workaholic. He's constantly working. He's constantly checking in on me, checking in on everybody. So he's a great GM. I'm happy for him. His promotion and his next few years here for sure.
Josh?
Brad, how close is this team, given how new it is, as you've mentioned, to developing an identity?
That's a great question. I don't know. I don't really. We want to be a defensive team, and basically feed off of that. And I don't know. I guess I'll leave that to you guys. I don't want to put us in a box, more or less. We're very versatile in a lot of ways, but more than anything, our first mindset is getting stops. So you could say our identity would be a strong-minded defensive team. That's going to try to get out and run and put some points on the board.
I don't know exactly what the identity is either, but if it turns, you're only 16 games in, and no one understands how early it is more than you.
Mm-hmm.
But if this does wind up being the team's identity, tough, finding ways to win, would that be a bad thing?
No. The only thing that matters is winning games. So if the win column steady going up, who gives a damn? We make it work. Like, it was ugly tonight. Like, how many turnovers I had? Shouldn't have to look that close. It should be right in my face. Oh, there it is. Yeah, 6. So, it's a lot of stuff we have to get better at. It's not perfect. It's ugly. But we find ways to win. So we love that. But, at the same time, in order to be a great team and, win deep in the playoffs and get further, we have to clean up a lot of this stuff. So
thank you very much.
Yeah.
Neil?
Hey, Brad, when Trez gets that stop, you kind of just, crossed your arm and kind of stared at him. Is that just kind of oh, you're a bad man, Trez, or explain that celebration?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, Trez was saying he had the seatbelts on, so you know, I did the little seatbelt gesture and stared at my man's. Because he's our energy man. Trez gets us going. You know, to see him always passionate about the game, like he loves the game, he loves hoops, like, and it's just fun to be around guys like that who have your back, like talks trash. He's gonna hit the other opponent, like if something bad happens to me, like he's like a big brother out there. So you know, it's always good to be able to have. I'll call him a bash brother. He's a bash brother out there, so it's always good to have a guy like that.
Then, bit of a random question. Last season, you guys would, after starting lineups, you know, the starters would have their little, you know, huddle. Bench would have theirs. This year, you guys are just doing, you know, whole roster together. How did that come about? Did somebody in particular say, "Oh, let's do this"?
Unique observation, Neil. No, that's a great one because that is very true. I actually took it upon myself earlier this year and said, you know, whatever we do, we have to do it collectively as a team. We don't have two groups. You know, it's not about starters. It's not about the bench. You know, it's us together as a group and as a team. You know, so let's find something to get us going and have some fun before we get out there and really go to war with each other. So we just jump up around like a little mosh pit and, you know, hit each other. Don't get hurt. Don't do anything crazy. But you know, we try to get each other going, get our energy going, get our juices.
Thanks, Brad.
That's all the time we have, Brad. Thank you.
Fruitive and getting some of their produce blends. It's very healthy stuff. So always support people that I like.
Get on toast.
Oh no, I don't like avocado toast. Not my thing.
Spencer, we'll start whenever you're ready.
Don't worry.
Spencer, we know we've asked you a million times about, you know, coming through in the clutch and down the stretch and everything like that. But what is the key to being a good, reliable fourth quarter player for you?
I mean, I think I've said it various different ways. You know, one, like I'm always trying to make the right play. So I feel like my heart's in the right place. So I'm not, you know what I'm saying, in a situation where I'm hesitating from that standpoint. And then also, you know, I've made shots before. I trust the work that I put in. And so I don't hesitate from that standpoint either. And I feel like the reason why people hesitate in the fourth quarter, hesitate in the clutch in general is because they're not trusting of something. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's the work that they put in or, you know, whether they feel like they're being selfish with the shots they take or the turnover that they got or whatever. Like, I ain't got none of that. So when I was talking about like not caring, it wasn't from the standpoint of like, you know, not wanting to win the game. Obviously, I always want to win the game, but I'm willing to live with the consequences. I've been through worse.
Unseld said that it was an ugly win, but you still have to kind of do the right things at the right time. What were you guys able to take advantage of on defense in the fourth?
I mean, obviously we try to get mismatches, try to get ball movement, so that Brad can get downhill, we can get into actions. And then, you know, we were fortunate enough to hit some shots as well. And they had some turnovers, some missed shots. So, you know, anytime you come back from 16 down, it's kind of the same thing I said as New Orleans, right? Like teams can give you a chance, but you also got to go out there and take it, you know, so they did their part in kind of helping us as well.
Through the first three quarters, you had 6 points, 2 of 7. And then in the fourth, you have 10 points, 4 of 4. How did you kind of just flip a switch when you guys needed it most?
Oh, I mean, I ain't gonna say it's flipping a switch. I hit the shots. So that's a big difference in the switch. You know, it's just sometimes people defend a little different in the fourth. I think, you know, I caught a couple of swing passes, were able to make some plays, you know, attack some closeouts, just stuff like that. But I try to gauge flow in terms of how the team plays. I mean, obviously it's a big key to get Brad going. We also want to keep the rest of our guys into it. So, you know, there's always going to be a time for me to be aggressive and, you know, trying to win a game.
And what does it say about this team to kind of win ugly? You know, you had a game, you scored 15 points in the second quarter, then you guys found a way to win against a tough team. Just kind of like, what does this win say about you guys?
I mean, I think it speaks to our grittiness. We've continued to kind of have that as our calling card along with our defense the entire year. I think that bodes well for tough playoff type basketball. But obviously we'd also like to get our offense on track as well.
You guys are now 7-1 at home. How important is it to have success, you know, here? And what was the atmosphere like tonight?
Good teams protect home court. So obviously you want to be a good team. You gotta do that for sure. And then in terms of the crowd, I mean, it was rocking. So I heard a couple heat chants though, so we can do a little bit better there, but obviously we won. So let's flip some of them fans too.
A lot of comebacks this season, second half deficits, the one against Boston down 6 in the first overtime. You guys have talked about resiliency, that being a key, but in the midst of it, when you're on the court, when you guys are talking to each other, during a timeout or whatever, how do you kind of keep your heads cool? I think Brad said earlier, you're not pointing the fingers at each other and stuff like that. What's the key to kind of stay calm in those moments?
Knowing that we've been there before, believing that we can win, and then also just trying to make the right play. To Brad's point, yeah, as long as you're not pointing the finger and bickering, then you don't allow for things to snowball. So you can kind of stay the course, try to do the right thing. You hit a couple of shots, and it's on and popping.
Hey, when you talk about putting in the work in so you could play more freely in the fourth quarter, do you visualize sort of playing in the fourth quarter when you are practicing?
Yeah, so when I talk about the work, I'm talking about, mostly summertime. I feel like I have one of the hardest routines, in the league. Visualization to a certain extent is a part of that. Whether it's making a certain amount of row or countdowns, or when I play ones being under certain stipulations and duress, like that maybe the other guys I'm playing with aren't, like you try to make that stuff so hard and difficult that the game becomes more easy. So that's more so what I meant. And then, so far it's worked in terms of, being able to build on my career and being able to hit those type of shots.
KCP as low key on courting with you guys as he is in front of us?
No. Nah.
Can you give me an example?
Nah. Nah, he speaks. I know he probably don't speak to y'all, but he speaks to us. So he's not as low key. He's a chill guy. He's not like Trez or nothing. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, exactly. But nah, he speaks.
Christos?
Hey, Spencer, congratulations on the win, first of all. Those turnaround wins, those comebacks, what sign of growth and what sign of progress are for you as a team?
I think a sign of growth and progress will be when we don't find ourselves down and we don't have poor second and third quarters, and we're able to start stringing together wins and sustain the lead from start to finish.
And for you, how, as the season goes on, as the games goes on, how more comfortable you feel in your role, and what is your expectation for the next games?
Obviously with season continuing to go on, we're going to learn each other and all continue to get more comfortable. Also the more the season goes on, the further I get away from, my surgery date. So just body wise, everything, I continue to feel better and better and better. And then as far as role goes, told y'all from the beginning, like secondary playmaker, that's why they brought me here. So, whatever that means at the time, whether that's calling the right play at the right time. Today you saw me setting screens for Brad because there were points in time where, Tyler Hero was guarding me and we were trying to get certain matchups so we get the switch. Just starts at secondary playmaker and, just using IQ to try to find the right plays at the right time.
Thank you very much.
Josh?
Spencer, I know it's just game 16 in an 82-game season and playoffs after that, but how close is this team to forming an identity, whatever it is?
Yeah, I think in terms of defense and grittiness and a never say die attitude, we have an identity. And I think obviously with Brad being our head of the state, we have an identity on offense. So, I think things will continue to form and round themselves out. We're a new group. We've literally only played together, 19 games, you count preseason, something like that. So it's not perfect, but we have the beginnings of that.
Thank you.
Last question to Neil.
Hey, Spencer. So 20% into the regular season, where would you say your comfort level is in just knowing, okay, when it's your time to assert yourself or when it's your time to get other people their touches and always trying to find that balance?
That's something that's just going to continue to unfold. The good news is while I'm learning that, we're still getting wins. So that's the main thing. But obviously you want to get Brad involved first and foremost. And then from there, like I said, the psychology of our group, you want to keep everybody engaged. So, you want to get Pope, Kuz, Trez involved. Just keeping the morale high, everybody going. from there, like I told you, I feel like I can get a shot at any time. So I'll continue to fill it out, try to make better decisions, just keep getting 1% better every day.
Thanks, Spencer.
Well.
That's it, Spencer. Thank you.